All right, guys, this is part two, and I'm gonna go back and answer all the questions which I missed out. Where do we end up? Because there's a part two, there's a part one out there. What fish oil brand and amount do you take? I take the Nutricy. I take 1 teaspoon per day, and hopefully everyone's getting this thing. We can get people up back in here. I don't know if this thing was made public. One sec, guys. Let me just make sure we can get one person up in here so we know that it's good. There we go. Looks like we're back. Okay, jumping back to the questions. What do we have? Okay, regarding DMAA, we answered that. Regarding that stack, L-theanine, lion's mane, KSM 66. No, it's not sound for a beginner stack, but when it comes to mixing up nootropics and all that, then just be mindful of try them independently first. Make sure that you respond okay. And do understand what the big differences are between stimulants, adaptogens, racetam, synthetic nootropics, natural nootropics, anything which can kind of raise your heart rate. That's where you should just be a little bit cautious. The person who asked if I'm a workaholic, I don't know how to answer that question. What do you do for fun? I like physical activities. And guys, don't mind popping your question. What I'm doing is I'm reading the questions from the other live stream, which came down due to technical difficulties, but I will read the question first before saying the answer. Therefore, if you're listening to this on repeat, it will all make sense. You mentioned you tried maca. Black maca is the best for libido. Thanks for that. Not asking for why is piracetam restricted to the elderly only? That's a good question because that's where it's known to be effective. And I think the people who are elder people who are going to use it will be using it for the right reasons versus younger people. And I think the risk for people too young taking it like that. Does modafinil raise your blood pressure? It raises mine like 10 points. Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it raises your blood pressure a little bit. What are the best few nootropics for social anxiety and socializing in general? Phenibut's really good. Caffeine L-theanine is really good. Phenylpiracetam is really good, and phenibut is really good. By the way, I took about 750 milligrams of phenibut earlier today, and really liking this stuff. And Mohammed, AJ, Finn, Natasha, ASD, FG, and that's how we got everybody else left due to the technical problem. You guys are my loyal tribe. I appreciate you. Going back to the question, taking nootropics in the morning while doing intermittent fasting on an empty stomach, is it bad? Any remedies? I hear lion's mane is good for ulcer prevention and gut health. I think nootropics while doing intermittent fasting is the best thing ever because you're getting the benefits of intermittent fasting when it comes to longevity, when it comes to general health, and in terms of like longevity, you can achieve the benefits by either doing calorie restriction or intermittent fasting, and then there's benefits with insulin sensitivity. So to think you can get those benefits and then you can use the nootropics while you're in a fasted state, and most nootropics that I talk about, I think 80 to 90% of them on this channel anyway are such that they are pretty much good, if not better, to be taken when fasted. 25 milligrams of Moda 4 times in a day. I've given Moda a shot taking it twice a day. I don't know the reason why taking it 4 times a day. The only reason would be perhaps in theory you can prevent that crash effect. However, I mean, you're going to get a slight mood boost when you do it. I can't see why one would do that versus taking like 50 milligrams maybe once in the morning, 50 milligrams in the afternoon, because with modafinil, it's going to interfere with your sleep. Did you try what about Moda? I'm on Moda right now. That's so funny. Why am I the only one who doesn't feel anything from L-tyrosine? No, Wally, if you're watching this, I hope you're watching the replay. There's a lot of people that don't respond to L-tyrosine, and maybe give it a shot 5-10 times. If you don't notice anything from it, then that's fine. And then I don't think there was any other questions. What substances have you consumed today? I took some modafinil. I took a little bit of phenibut. I took some Tonkat Ali, Alpha GPC. I took 400 milligrams of L-theanine, and then I had a pre-workout supplement. Oh, you know what? I had the one Outlift that I discussed on the other video on the nootropics or supplements to take pre-workout, and that has a whole bunch of stuff, including L-tyrosine. Taking nootropics, underrated. Mike, can you repeat? what you said earlier about you dropping all stimulants. ASD, I don't remember exactly what I said. Can you remind me if you don't mind? Underrated nootropic, helps open up your nasal passages and breath and breathe much better in oxygen intake. That's really cool, AJ. Thanks for sharing that, because I think ephedrine's promise is to open up your nasal passage somehow, but not really to improve with performance. Dude, taking nootropics in the morning while doing intermittent fasting. Okay, no, we already answered that question. Pine bark extract. I'll be giving that a shot. I'm not too sure. Top 3 nootropics for stuttering and word recall. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I still have a stutter, just that my video editor is good at taking it out. I would guess anirastatin is good, piracetam, and choline. Hey, Mike, did you feel Wellbutrin during the first few days that you took it? I'm on day 2, and I think I'm already feeling a massive improvement in my fatigue issues. That's really cool, Founds Fox. I'm guessing that's what happened after your meeting with your GP. Yeah, I felt it. I felt the energetic effects after a few days for sure. With respect to like the mood improvement and what it's supposed to do in terms of somewhat, you can say, eliminating symptoms of depression. I didn't notice that to be working for about 2.5 weeks. Then it really hit my mood. The first thing I noticed though was it was intense. I was more energetic, and I definitely had a bit of an appetite suppressed kind of feeling, kind of like the same you feel with some stimulants like ephedrine almost. Moda equals long half-life. Are you good at Call of Duty? Oh, I don't know. I haven't played Call of Duty for like 10 years. I found that ashwagandha has made me quite angry and irritable. I've been on it for 2 weeks. Would you recommend stacking it in case the effects subside or drop it completely? Finn, what form of ashwagandha are you taking? I'm super curious. Have you tried? Cannot, no, I have not. What do you think about the recreational use of psychedelics for self-development? Bro, how do I take? Okay. Danilo, I'm thumbs down to psychedelics. I think that there's too much of a risk of people doing something harmful. If you don't have that risk of doing something harmful to yourself or to others, then yeah, why take something which could likely get you in that state? So maybe perhaps in a controlled environment, but no, I'm against it. Bro, how do people take massive moda doses? I don't know. I took 75 milligrams of Artivigil this morning, and I'm still feeling it. There's not much of a difference, surprisingly, or from my experience anyway, from taking like 100 milligrams of moda versus 150. It's not like phenylpiracetam. With phenylpiracetam, I find it very stimulating. 200 milligrams for me, way too stimulated. So I don't know how to answer that question. I guess they're not responding to it, and then they're just taking more. That with the ECA stack, $4 on AMZ. Do people still do the ECA stack? Oh my gosh, it's crazy. ECA stack, what is it? 600 milligrams of caffeine. No, 200 milligrams of caffeine and 32 milligrams of ephedrine 3 times a day, something like that. I don't remember what the A was for. Do you play video games? It should be fun to check out effects on different nootropics on your skills. Yeah, there's no question that's a good way to measure like performance and your cognition. I do believe like younger people playing video games is definitely good for the brain in some sort of capacity. When I was younger, I played a lot of StarCraft. I played FIFA, Call of Duty. I played Subspace, which is a game nobody knows about. Maybe some other ones. How about Wim Hof breathing? Wim Hof breathing method, like cold showers, etc. Yeah, I really like it. Aubrey Marcus has that book, Own the Day, Own Your Life, and he put in not only there but as well in Dave Asprey's book Game Changers. In one of those books, they put a specific Wim Hof practice for doing for your freezing cold showers, and I forget to do it sometimes, but I would definitely recommend that you check that out, because you'll leave like the freezing cold shower just feeling invincible. Definitely good for fighting anxiety, giving you a little bit more energy, and even fitness. Maybe there's something to be said about freezing cold showers, but I've not noticed like a testosterone increase or being more alpha or some of the crazy things you'll read about there. You'll read out there about freezing cold showers. I think they're somewhat overrated. I'm taking 2 times 5 grams of the root powder. Yeah, see, this is common. For those of you taking ashwagandha, the root I'm finding is likely to lead to irritability. With the root, you need to take it, or you should take it with some fat, like a fat source. That's how in the old-fashioned way was to take it with some fatty milk. So try taking it with some fat, and if you still are irritable to it, then I would definitely look into an extract like mainly KSM 66 or Sensoril. they've already been through that extraction process. You don't need to take them with the meal, and you'll likely respond pretty good to it. Pretty good with it. Hey Jen, what's going on? I like French pine bark. Best supplement for withdrawal symptoms: rhodiola rosea, 300 milligrams twice a day, and L-tyrosine, 500 milligrams twice a day. Gucci, you may find it helpful to watch that video, how to overcome Adderall withdrawals. Hey Mike, do you enjoy taking Wellbutrin and modafinil together? I took 75 milligrams of Wellbutrin and around 35 milligrams of Ardevigil and felt awesome. Oh, that's really interesting. I can see why they would work well. Together, because with Wellbutrin, you're going to get an energy boost. It's really going to help you with productivity. 75 milligrams is good. I'm assuming it's the SR because it'll last for a few hours and there's not much of a crash. So they could be good together. It really just depends how sensitive you are to modafinil. If modafinil is really strong with you, then you probably won't notice it working. Where I like Wellbutrin is that I'm taking the 300 milligram XL, which lasts for a very long time. So with the modafinil, use it nice. I use it in the morning, and then with the Wellbutrin, it's still somewhat in my system and working at the later portion of the day. That it does help me with productivity because I'm doing the whole intermittent fasting thing. You should sell your own nootropic supplement stack. Yeah, Dem, obviously I've thought about it. I feel better without having any video game systems in my house. I do miss the social aspects of my Xbox Live though. Yeah, I'm all for that. Throw your Xbox and throw out your Netflix. Mike, are you into biohacking like Tony Robbins, Dave Asprey? Yeah, I don't really think of Tony Robbins like a biohacking guy, but yeah, I'm all into hacking outside of supplements. Do you think Dave Asprey will be successful in living for 180 years like he says? Oh man, I don't know. 180 years, I don't know. Does chicken breast and eggs simply beat all choline supplements? No, I've given that a shot. I've tried eliminating choline entirely and just eating more egg yolks. The practical way is probably like the keto diet. I felt better taking some alpha GPC. What are your favorite channels on self-development? YouTube channels. Project Life Mastery. He's got some good stuff. I also like some specific Spotify podcasts. I like Mindset Mentor and the Ed Mylett Show. Ed Mylett, he interviewed Aubrey Marcus, the guy who ran On It, the Alpha Brain brand. Yeah, and then he also interviewed who's that famous doctor? That famous doctor, not Mrs. Rhonda Patrick, but someone, Andrew Huberman. This is a really good one, guys. I highly recommend it. Elite Brain Training with Andrew Huberman. I learned a lot from that. How to get off of caffeine. Do you have any suggestions for people who suffer from what is silent reflux? How to get off of caffeine? John, don't go off of it. Just take small amounts of it during your time off. And if you really want to get off of it, firstly taper off, and then try using some Noopept or even maybe some phenylparacetam on those days when you're off of caffeine. You could, if that's really too hard, then maybe some ephedrine. Probably not the best thing, but it is known to work on different receptors. However, the problem is it is still a stimulant at the end of the day, as is phenylparacetam, in my opinion. Best supplements to boost testosterone as much as possible and reduce estrogen as much as possible. Natural, there's really nothing outside of the ones which we've mentioned on this channel very often. Tomcat Alley, ZMA, Tribulus, having the high-fat diet and exercising. Did you try splitting up your Moda dose? I split my dose today and I haven't noticed a crash yet. Yeah, I've given it a shot twice a day. Have you taken Hirataki powder? No, I haven't checked that out. Thoughts on best supplements for power output? Thoughts on milk? I think more and more frequently you hear about people having experiences with learning their lactose intolerance. I specifically don't respond that well to milk. For whatever reason, I kind of feel low energy, almost like something's off afterwards. For people trying to gain weight, I guess it's good. Some chocolate milk has some amino acids, has your fat, has your carbohydrate, and tastes good with shakes. I don't know what else to say. Best supplements for power output for strength sports. L-tyrosine is really good. Nothing really beats caffeine in terms of effectiveness, safety. Beta-alanine, creatine, vitamin B. I think I mentioned L-tyrosine. And maybe some alpha GPC. I haven't noticed too much of a difference. I don't like to judge other men's looks, but I wonder why Dave Asprey looks so old. He looks like he's in his mid-60s, but he's only 47. I only bring this up because it makes me worried about taking newts. Well, I don't think he really takes that many newts compared to some other people, but I personally never looked at him like, I didn't notice he looked like he's in his 60s. Maybe it's just from the hard work. The guy worked really hard, plus he was around computers. What's your opinion on gut bacteria and pills for it? So, Kara, if you haven't found a diet that works for you, then perhaps it will help you just in that whole journey of learning what you respond well to. Because finding the right diet for you and even the right carbohydrate intake, it's going to take a lot of trying and testing. And if you're feeling a lot of fatigue and low energy, most likely it can be fixed through a correction in your diet. So I don't find a lot of younger people notice much from taking a probiotic or gut bacteria pill. Elder people more so. Astragalus for kidney EGFR. Mike, so you know YouTube has been wilding. They'll copyright strike you for just humming a song. How do you know that? That's really interesting. Tolerance from natural newts versus synthetic. Synthetic, be more concerned with, but especially stimulants. I think with natural nootropics, you can still build somewhat of a tolerance. Things like lion's mane is pretty common. Any recommendation? I tried, but 200 milligrams of modafinil, 150 milligrams of armodafinil, really didn't notice much. Any tips? Look, try working more in the later portion of the day when you would generally feel like a bit of fatigue. That's when you can really start to tell modafinil is doing something. I find in the first half of the day, provided like you have like a good level of energy, then you're pretty much fine. The been a lot better. You deserve more subscribers. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate you. Let's say I take 400 milligrams of caffeine. How much L-theanine to sleep after? Universe, generally 2 L-theanine to 1 caffeine. So in that example, 800 milligrams of L-theanine. However, if you're somebody that doesn't respond that well to caffeine and you need to take a lot of it, like you're, you can say not that sensitive, then is go more with like a 1-to-1 ratio, like 400 milligrams of L-theanine, 400 milligrams of caffeine. And how much Wellbutrin do I take? I take 300 milligrams the XL, so one pill, just once in the morning. Dave Asprey looks old because before all that knowledge, he used to be very unhealthy for many years. Wish you were here in the Phoenix, Arizona, as I could really use your real estate service. Laura, actually, Laura, it's funny you mentioned that because I know a great real estate agent out in Arizona. So contact me somehow and I can connect you with them. I just met them recently. Mike, do you recommend, what's going on, Jerome? Mike, do you recommend taking a zinc supplement, and how often have you taken it to improve hair thinning, etc.? Well, people use zinc for so many different reasons. I think the majority of people use it now for testosterone boosts, like 10 milligrams, 20 milligrams. So if I am supplementing with it, I'll only take it like maybe like once a month. No, sorry, like maybe like once a day for a month, and then I would get off of it for a month. You may notice like a little bit higher sexual drive, but not much for most people. It's covered in a ZMA supplement either way, and just be mindful of there's like an interaction with copper and some other things with zinc. People do notice gray hairs more often. Ashwagandha, but probably good stuff for your parents, zinc supplements. Ashwagandha versus rhodiola. For most people, I think ashwagandha is more appropriate, where rhodiola could be more appropriate is if you're somebody who works like really long hours, because it should refresh you to some extent. But with ashwagandha, we're talking better sleep. We're talking feeling more calm. We're talking feeling more relaxed. Generally, like better relationship with your work, with yourself. You'll find yourself even being a little bit more creative, less stressed out, you can say. I take lion's mane for my dreams. Every night is like a Netflix thriller. That's funny. How much vitamin D3 do you recommend? James, I wouldn't ask me because I take a lot, like 2,000 to 3,000, because I'm in Canada where it's likely to have low vitamin D. What form of zinc do you prefer? Oh, I don't even know. I'm not that big on zinc supplements, as my blood markers have shown okay for it. What do you think about the Orange Triad multivitamin? I'm glad you brought that up. Universe, that multivitamin by Orange Triad has been out for like a long time, like 10 years. And that one's known as being one of the better multivitamins, specifically for bodybuilders or for people aspiring to get a better physique. You're exercising and you need to make sure that you're not, deficient on any particular micronutrient. And Orange Triad, I remember it was always like rated as the most popular multivitamin. So with multis, especially if you're not eating enough vegetables or taking in like a greens shake, then make sure like you're taking a multi which has a few pills, like 3 or 4 pills. Those generally are going to cover enough. Maybe they'll even have some choline or some glutamine in there as well. And those are generally better, but they are a bit expensive. I'm now taking lion's mane for 10 days. I feel increase in focus and calmness. Can I expect more benefits taking 1,000 milligrams per serving? I don't think the benefits would get much better than that, really. You would just see the benefits across different things you do, which is cool. Because you like while you're on lion's mane, you get very interested of like, why didn't I try this? Why didn't I try that? And it'll help you better understand how it's used. KSM66 seems to give me heart palpitations, so I stopped it. By the way, guys, that's the form of ashwagandha, KSM66, that it does increase thyroid levels. Perhaps you're one of those unusual characters that already has a high thyroid, and it's just elevating it too much to the point that it's uncomfortable and could likely interfere with sleep. Mike, can you compare DHA to lion's mane in terms of increasing BDNF? Zayed, I have no such way of measuring such thing. I don't know if anyone could. I don't know if this is from ashwagandha or lion's mane. Okay, yeah, Patrick, it's probably a little bit of both. You're taking a pretty big dose of lion's mane, so I would expect it to be doing something. It could very well be the ashwagandha though, because lion's mane is not really known to increase focus. More, yeah, if anything. Do you cycle off holy basil? I don't use holy basil. And thoughts on coloracetam? I gave it a few trials. I took it for 3 weeks last month. I didn't notice anything with it. I will not be using it again. Has anyone else noticed anything from it? I feel like ND. Oh, sorry, I skipped someone. Ashwagandha versus Tonkat Ali versus Shilajit. Thoughts? Right now, I'm liking Tonkat Ali more because it makes you kind of more alpha, whereas ashwagandha kind of doesn't. Tonkat Ali, you can notice the testosterone boost to some extent, the improvement in physique, especially if you're exercising a lot. Ashwagandha, not so much, kind of relaxing. And Shilajit seems to help a little bit with anxiety, does help with fighting fatigue. A high dose. The only thing with Shilajit is like you need to take a pretty high dose for it to be effective, or that's been my experience with it. You guys are welcome to tell me otherwise. ND has been promoting their Shodan a lot recently. Shodan is very effective, but just far too relaxing. Yeah, I was not able to get much work done, unfortunately. Supplements to decrease blood pressure. I don't want to take meds. Universe. Yeah, I'm not sure because most of them are actually going to increase your blood pressure. So just be careful. Why is ashwagandha not in most mainstream stacks? What's your opinion? Then because it's not something which people can tell is working, the first time which they take it. And secondly, it's not something which is going to improve your performance. Like with Quayle and Mine in that product, they don't have ashwagandha. I'm sure they know what ashwagandha is, yet they strategically did not put it in there. And it's probably because it will not get the result which they're looking for it to manifest in terms of being more productive, getting more work done. So that's probably why. But if you were to ask someone for like an anti-anxiety stack, or like, man, I'm in a really bad mood, what do I take? Then ashwagandha should definitely be there, without question. Do you still take Shodan? No, I took the Shodan for about 3 weeks, and then I have like a big tub of it still. Maybe I'll use it for like, I don't know, like a vacation. But no, generally not. Like this is the time of year. It's like it's December. We need to work hard. Like everything we do now is going to result in a better 2021. I'm not trying to take anything to make me work less. I'm cranking it out. I'm going to get 2, if not 3 videos up on this channel. I'm going to respond to comments twice a day, if not more, and really do whatever I can in my real estate business and building out EXP as well. So no Shodan for me. Modafinil makes me feel quite nervous. I took my first stand-up comedy performance for which was a mistake. That is so funny. At least it gave you some energy, but yeah, like that's a specific scenario where it would likely leading you to being nervous. I would be curious to know how that would have gone if you would have taken it like at a different time of the day, or if you took a smaller dose of modafinil. And Jerome, I wonder if you're still on this thing. Did you try color sublingual? Yeah, I did try it sublingually. By effective, do you mean effective at reducing cortisol / anxiety? If you're referring to, what are you referring to? Mr. Teenage Experiment, what meditation technique do you use? I like guided ones the most. I don't like any music in the background. Specifically, if you search up Sam Harris on YouTube, he has a really nice guided meditation. He has a short one, which is 8-9 minutes. Then he has a long one for 25 minutes. Bob Proctor has a good one too. So that's the meditation technique I use. I pretty much sit against a wall, nothing special, concentrate on my breath, listen to a guided meditation. Ideally silent headphones, and make sure there's no noise, and don't be too hard on yourself. Hey, Mike, you mentioned that daily serving of 1,000 milligrams of lion's mane is too much. No, sorry, Patrick. I didn't say it was too much, but I said it was enough for it to be a noticeable amount. So because you asked me if it's that which is leading you to being calm, or it's the ashwagandha, to which I said there's no way to tell because that's a pretty good dose. Rhodiola as a pre-workout. I personally don't like it in pre-workouts. I don't see the purpose because I may be the only one, but I notice like something happens about an hour after I take rhodiola rosea. I lose a little bit of energy. So for that reason, I'm not using it. What are the top 3 anti-anxiety nootropics? Plus, I've read lavender oil is pretty good. L-theanine is really good. Phenobute's really good. And aniracetam is pretty good. But look at that graph. There's a graph. It's like a nootropic survey. They took like 300 people and they measured it on anxiety, focus. Guys, I'm going to release the video on L-theanine benefits, maybe later tonight, if not tomorrow. You'll see that graph, and make sure you watch that video and watch it until the end because I kind of combined 2 videos into one. It's pretty cool. I've never done that before. Hey, Mike, Nalt L-tyrosine stack with 50 milligrams colorastam makes me feel really good. Brighter eye and increase of sense and mood. Okay, very cool. Thanks for sharing that colorastam did anything for you. See, that's the thing with colorastam, like 50 milligrams is a pretty high dose, and I don't know too much about this rastam, and there's not that many studies on it, so perhaps I'm just a wimp because I don't want to try doses that high, and I've been trying, I think the most I tried was like 25 milligrams. So you guys know I'm pretty cautious with nootropics. I was referring to Shodan. Okay, what was the question? Effective at reducing cortisol. Well, you kind of always tell if something's reducing cortisol, reducing anxiety. Yeah, teenage experiment, everything ashwagandha is promised to do, calmness, being a bit more relaxed, being able to kind of zone out. Do you need a cycle Tonkat Ali? Can I take one every day, the 10% one from Nootropics Depot? I think you can take it every day and then maybe take a week off like after about a month. I'm still learning about this nootropic. Maybe it's been 3-4 months since I've started, maybe 3 months only. If you guys look back at the video, I made my first video on Tonkat Ali, I think in October after 30 days. So I'm still learning about that thing, and I can let you guys know more in the future. Because I did use Tonkat Ali before, but not the Nootropics Depot version. And their stuff is really good. It's like really damn potent. Would you recommend 1,000 milligrams of L-tyrosine and 900 milligrams? No, Patrick, I think that's, I don't think 1 gram of lion's mane is ideal to take like that. I would say separate it, take like a split dose, 500 milligrams, maybe around noon and once thereafter. Guys, give me 2 Mississippis. Good stack. I don't think people know how insignificant lion's mane increases BDNF. A simple cardio or HIIT or a high intensity exercise will 3-fold increase. Yeah, Stevo, I mentioned that on the other live stream. This live stream is kind of separated into 2. I did another one where I went through the unboxing of my nootropics order. So be sure to watch that one. And then this one came afterwards. And the way we ended that last one, I hope it's still up. Can ashwagandha be mixed? Yo, next time somebody tells me about this happy stack, I'm going to get really mad. Because can you tell me what that stack is for that question? Yeah, why? I heard garlic in higher doses. Okay, yeah. Universe, that sounds fair. Colorastam feels great, but it doesn't improve my work ethic. And we're all about nootropics that are going to help your work ethic. What are your top book recommendations? Think and Grow Rich, Cybernetics is good. Read something for mindset. I think those books are underrated. They make you feel like you're invincible. Has Customs ever held your shipment? Nope, they have not. I took Noopep for 3 days. Sublingual, it didn't feel anything. Do you recommend taking any Noopept in empty stomach for feeling it? Yeah, Lee, you need to have, I mean, I didn't notice anything really from Noopep besides me just paying attention to the results. So I would challenge you guys who are not noticing anything from nootropics, like have a very objective way of measuring things. And I don't mean like day by day, like literally try your nootropics for 2 months and see how those 2 months compare to other times. Because if you're always going by feeling, then you're naturally going to just chase stimulants and chase things which are going to improve your mood. Noopept is something you should just notice. I don't know how else to say it. Better results, more work done, slightly more focus, yet it's not a mood improver yet, so you may not be able to tell. What's the end goal for your YouTube channel? That's the beautiful thing about this YouTube channel, is like my only goal is to contribute and show you guys that you can be your best self. So I don't know, but if you have ideas for me, then I'm welcome to listen. Uridine, choline B complex. Okay. No, Abra, I wouldn't be concerned about Nootropics Depot. They seem pretty good. What do you think about FL modafinil? I don't know anyone who's stuck to it long term. Ultimately, it's going to hurt your sleep. And I've asked people about FL modafinil who swore by it years prior, and they no longer take it, which goes and tells you something. What do you think? What do you know and think about L-theanine? Oh my gosh, ask me anything about L-theanine, because I made a video on it and I had to study it a little bit. And you'll be seeing that video. It's going to be out tonight or sometime tomorrow. And I got a cool thumbnail of me like holding a cup of tea with a Google list in the background. 30 milligrams of zinc a day. A little bit high, universe, depends who you are. What supplements have you done today? Phenibut, modafinil, alpha GPC, Tonkat, L-theanine, caffeine, and I took a bit of a pre-workout. Hey man, I'm thinking any discount codes for Nootropics Depot. I think there's one that you can find on Google for 10% off. I think it's like Reddit's, or it's somewhere on my Patreon page. You should see it there. I think it's like Reddit's with an S or a 5 at the end, something like that. Mr. Happy Stack, Uridine. Hey man, I'm thinking of buying this Nootropic stack, tyrosine, guarana, bacopa, and L-theanine. What do you think of it, and what would you add to the stack? When it comes to stacking things, make sure you respond okay to them individually first. So give them a shot one by one. Make sure nothing bad happens. Then you can better evaluate. And looks like a pretty good stack though. Yeah, really good for work ethic, for making you feel sharp, on point. I think that's a good stack, Delph. In terms of actual effects that were not placebo, which plant-based nootropics feel like they work for you? A lot not placebo. Vincenzo, there's too many. Can you like give me a list and I can hand select a few of them? Hashimoto's, no. Have you ever tried cocoa powder? Yeah, Fallon's Fox. I used to add like a teaspoon of it, like the 100% stuff, to like oatmeal or like a sugarless cereal along with some protein powder. It doesn't taste that great. Slightly stimulating, but you won't notice much from it, and you can find it in theobromine, the supplement. What would be universe? The teenage experiment. Thanks for that. What does L-theanine do? Calmness, focus, helps with anxiety, productivity, performance, reduces reduces kind of that negative effect you would get from pressure. Like people cannot perform under pressure. It would make you believe like you're performing without the pressure. What would be a good stack for a 3 p.m. job interview? Take away anything which can induce like any little bit of anxiety. Take things which are going to relax you. Come think of it like lion's mane, ashwagandha, maybe some tyrosine if you need an energetic like pick me up. Because job interviews, you'd be surprised. It's not only about answering with the right words. Like you got to show passion and interest in the actual job. And like, listen, Mr. Boss, I will get the job done. There's no point of interviewing anyone else. Save their time and save your time. Let's move forward. Like get some energy. So make sure your energy is on point. Do you have to take Prastam every day, or is 100 milligrams twice in a week enough to feel the effects? That's a really low dose. I think maybe you're getting it confused with phenylprastam. Like 1 gram twice a week is pretty good. No, sorry. Wait. 1 gram twice in a day? Abra, I don't understand what the question is, and I think you're confusing Prastam with something else. Mike, please name the best nootropics for motivation, suffering from chronic procrastination. Recently started tyrosine and haven't noticed any difference. Maya, watch the video I made on, I'm like pointing as if the video is here. Three nootropics to live life fearlessly, because it's going to cover that. And I don't want to say what nootropics they are without discussing like the doses, side effects. So watch that video. Let me know your thoughts and respond to the video so that I know you watched it. Mike, please. Cocoa powder gave me migraines. Beware. Really? Patrick, what do you do for a living? He's a male model. I'm not a male model. What do I do for a living? I sell residential real estate. So I make presentations. I'm 100% commission based. And then I also got this fun YouTube job, which I wouldn't consider my job, but maybe it is a job because sometimes I don't feel like editing videos, but I help my video editor. And what else I got going on? I recruit real estate agents and I train them, particularly people looking to do more business. What time of day do you take ashwagandha? I take it once around 1 o'clock and then once again at 6 o'clock. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm taking time off of nootropics and off of ashwagandha. Mike, have you tried Ginkgo and what are its long-term nootropic benefits? Memory, that's why most people use Ginkgo in the past. I didn't notice much from it. I tried it a few times over my nootropic journey. And yeah, I give it a thumbs down because if you're using it to improve your memory, you're better off taking some Bacopa. Ginkgo is safer, however, because it's been, yeah, it looks like a general good supplement for health and longevity, and pretty much goes well with every diet. You can take it fasted or you can take it with a meal, and there's lots of studies backing up some of its effects. Can you take phenylparacetam every day? I wouldn't. Ben, there's not too many experiences about people taking phenylparacetam every day. I think the longest I've read about is somebody who took it for like 2 weeks, and even then, coming off of it, they didn't feel that great. And same thing with me with phenylparacetam. If I take it too often, following that, there is a little bit of withdrawal, like mood isn't as strong, a little bit of social anxiety, kind of like the same feeling you would get from coming off of stimulants. What would be the best stack for enhancing reaction time from brain? Enhancing reaction time, anything to pick up alertness. So caffeine, stimulants. Motaz, I think you asked that question about paracetam before. I've already answered it. Let me clarify. Phenylparacetam, 100 milligrams twice a week is enough to feel this effects. Yeah, Abra, because you're going to feel it after taking the phenylparacetam. It's not like it has a build-up effect. It's not like you need to take it every single day and on day 7 it'll start working. No, you should notice it that same day. For me, several hours afterwards. So 100 milligrams and once in a day is good enough for me. I like taking it under the tongue. And twice a week seems like a good amount. Save it for those days when you need it. Maybe like a longer workout. Maybe you're traveling. That's when it's like it's magic. Or perhaps if you're like slightly short of sleep. I heard Tonkat Ali gives people nausea on Reddit. Is it with you too? Yeah, if I have it fasted, so especially if it's the powder form, it just makes you feel weird. Make sure you have it with a meal. Do nootropics give you, which nootropics give you vivid dreams? For some people, lion's mane. Some people say huperzine A gives it for them. Some people say alpha GPC. The only thing I found useful for vivid dreams, I was using phosphatidylserine and I was sleeping a lot less. And when you sleep less, you're able to get into like a deep sleep very quickly, which is pretty cool. Top 3 useless nootropics. Oh my gosh. Panax ginseng, I'm not a fan. Choline bitartrate and coliracetam because everyone's mentioning it. No, acetyl L-carnitine. Mike, thanks for educating us. You're very welcome. Is 400 milligrams of caffeine safe to take every day as a pre-workout with 8 grams of citrulline malate and 5 grams of beta-alanine? I think that the citrulline malate is good. The 5 grams of beta-alanine is good. The 400 milligrams of caffeine, that's like right where the cutoff is. Here in the government of Canada wrote up an article saying people should not go over 400. I think 400 is okay, just provided that you're not too sensitive to the stuff, because 400 is enough to keep you bouncing off the walls. If I take over 300, I'm always going to split it. I wouldn't like taking over 300 at once because the crash is really bad. Furthermore, I heard, okay, cool. What else can I take for better T4 to T3 conversion? James, I'm by no means an expert when it comes to this thyroid thing. It is way more complicated than I think most people make it to be or believe it to be on the surface. So for better T4 to T3 conversion, I don't know. I would just take some straight T3, if anything, with a little bit of T4, which I've done in the past. Thoughts on Dan? I actually got Shilajit droppers. Unfortunately, I don't have it with me right now. But the same brand that has the organic mushroom mix, the one I mentioned on the video on the mushroom extracts, they have a really good dropper. It's like 10 drops per serving, and I really enjoy it. What would be the equivalent of Ritalin? One, watch the video I made on 5 alternatives to Adderall. That should cover that. And I apologize for that kind of answer. Just I'm a little bit short of time. What nootropics do you recommend that I can take every day for long shifts at work? Ben, Aaron, specifically, have a stack that you take somewhere in the middle of your workday, perhaps later in the end. For me, what that would look like is Bacopa, Rhodiola rosea, L-tyrosine. Some Noopept could really help you out. If you like the racetams, then some oxiracetam could provide you with a good energetic pick-me-up. And you should notice something from that, because especially if it's for longer shifts at work. And guys, we're going to end this, but do watch the other live stream. I made the first one. That's where I went through the unboxing. I showed you guys like 26 different nootropics, and I got that video coming up. And when I release the L-theanine video, please do me a favor, even if you don't like L-theanine, watch the video and comment on it so I know you were there. And I just like knowing you guys are there. When I release a video and I see that my main people haven't, my tribe haven't messaged, I'm like, man, what's going on? You guys okay? I appreciate you guys more than you know, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.